let's update our NeoForge project to 1.21.3. 121 Minecraft modding course is available down below, with over 11 hours of content covering everything from the basics all the way to block entities and custom mobs. Alright, we found us back in IntelliJ once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be updating our project here to 1.21.3. However, very important disclaimer at the very beginning, the rest of the tutorial series will be continued with 1.21.1. I did make a poll on this on the YouTube channel a while ago, and a lot of people actually said don't even bother making the update video, but there were a couple of people, about 25% or so, who said they did want to see an update video. So we're going to do an update video and then continue with 1.21.1. Very important. I basically don't recommend you do this update, and if you do, to make a separate branch over here so that you're not sort of destroying your project, because there's a lot of changes once again, and some of them are, I don't want to say destructive, but you basically have to like roll back a lot of stuff. So basically highly recommended to, if you want to update, then make it on a different branch and then see. So what we need to do for the update are a couple of things. Of course, we want to go to the Gradle properties file here. We want to change this to 21.3.8-beta. And that should be fine. The version range over here, we can just actually put this to 1.22. That's going to be fine. And then this is 1.21.3. In terms of the rest here is fine. We then want to go to the build.gradle file and change this to 21 because the mod def over here is at 21. And once we have this, we can load the Gradle changes, which is going to download the new stuff over here. And then we can, well, then let's let the misery begin, so to speak. It's not that bad because there are also quite a few interesting changes, I will admit. So there's actually quite a few interesting changes as well. However, a lot of them are kind of strange. So the first thing is, in our modblocks class, every single block will now need a registry key or an ID as well. So in the properties over here, we can now call the setID method, which needs a resource key. This is going to look for every block kind of like this: setID, resource key.create, registries.block. Then we wanted to make a resource location from namespace and path tutorial.mod.id, and then passing in the name right here, which has to be exactly the same name that we're registering this block with. Now, this call over here, this has to be done for every single block of yours. While I absolutely agree that you can make this basically in the register block method, of course, we could pass in the settings as well, and we could add it here. I absolutely agree with you. In our case, we're not going to do this. We're just going to add them for all of them because honestly, we just don't have that many blocks here in this case. This would probably be more future-proof, but in this case right now, I'm not going to bother with it. It's going to be fine. We're just going to immediately switch back to the register block over here, where we need to do this as well for the block over here. So for the block item, so it's going to be set ID, and then we're going to have a resource key of create, then registries dot, this is going to be item in this case, then a resource location from namespace and path, and then tutorial.mod.id, and then here the name is going to be the name, and there you go. So this is going to be obviously for each of the different block items. That's going to be fine. And then here we're just going to copy this set ID over, and we're going to paste it in every time after the off. That's just going to be easy. And then, you know, sometimes I do a new line break over here just so that we can actually see this, because this is quite a long thing. Now, if you see this and say, well, it's kind of weird because you literally have all this information already. Yes, that is why this update, I've been a little bit ornery about this update, okay? I will completely admit the code changes have been very strange so far. Now, like I said, there's a couple of good things in here. I'm not disputing that, but yeah, the good doesn't necessarily always wash out the bad, let's say. Neither though does the bad wash out the good, okay? So it's a trade-off. Anyway, now that we've copied this over, now of course we need to go through and change the name here. This is extremely important that we change the name of the resource key here to the proper name of the block, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm double-clicking on this to select it, press Ctrl-C to copy it, and then Ctrl-V to paste it in over here. That is the whole idea. I'm going to do this for all of our blocks. Don't worry, this is going to be done for all of our items as well, so that's going to be a fun ride. Like I said, yes, this is doable a little bit easier when it comes to a custom register block method. I have opted out of this right now. I'm going to be real, my bias is showing, and I'm totally okay with this. I don't like the update right now, and that's actually it for the modblocks method, by the way. That is all we need to do in this case. I believe, yes, this should be everything we need to do, and we can actually proceed to data gen. But yeah, I'm okay with it showing the that I yeah, a little bit ornery, and that I didn't really like it. The reason why I made the poll is to be like, oh, we're not going to need it, but well, I'm still going to do the update video. It's fine. So the trim material class has moved. So that's basically all that there is to it. So this is why we need to re-import it. And then down here, we're going to make a very interesting thing. I will actually copy this over now. As always, of course, the code is available to you in the 29 update 121.3 over here. And here we're just going to switch out this armor type switch over here because the armor item no longer has an equipment slot that we can use. We now are just going to do something silly like this, where we're just saying, hey, does the armor item, does the name have helmet inside of it? And then if it does, then we're just going to return a helmet. Listen, don't at me, okay? I have like ranted and raved about the fact that we have to use a custom insane method here for our custom armor for a while. We're just going to put this in and we're going to be okay, okay? That's going to be fine. And then actually everything here works. Then it comes to the recipe. So mod recipe provider has changed a little bit, but overall, honestly, it is not too bad. We're going to have a new constructor over here. So we're going to, first of all, implement the build recipes method. That's a new method, basically just the same method, honestly. We can actually literally just remove the parameter. That's going to be easier. And then here, create the constructor over here. Of course, we're going to change the name here to provider. And then here is going to be the recipe output. It's going to be okay. And then in the build recipes method, well, it's actually going to be fairly easy because instead of the recipe output, we can simply use this.output. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, press Ctrl R, and then we're going to replace this. Oh, let's see. So let's select this, Ctrl R, put the this.output in here, and then replace this for all of them right here. Now, the great thing is that we don't even need it for all of them because in these cases, right, so when the slab, we don't need it anymore, pressure plate, we don't need it anymore, the wall doesn't need it, and the trim smithing does also no longer needs it. So that's the next one. This one has also changed a little bit where we don't no longer put in the resource location, but we actually put in the resource key this time, resource key, create registries.recipe in this case, and then the next parameter is going to be exactly this. However, this is going to be a parse right here, and this is going to be for the following. This is going to have get item name, passing in mod items dot. This is the Kaupensmithing template. Nope, Kaupensmithing template. There you go, and then a plus, and then a plus, and the plus here is going to be underscore smithing underscore trim, and then one more closing parentheses is needed. In the case of these ones, very easy, just remove the class and then it's going to work. And there we go. For this, we will need a helper method. This is going to be a public static class, I'm going to call, or actually a helper class. Yeah, there you go, which extends the recipe provider.runner. And this is going to implement, I think, two methods or one method, two methods. There you go. The name here, you can just be like my recipes or something similar like that. The recipe provider is going to be the new mod recipe provider, passing in the provider that we have access to here and the recipe output. And then we need a new constructor here. We can simply hover over this, create constructor matching super, but we're going to change this to, let's say, pack output here. And of course, changing it here too. And then here, this is the provider again. Yeah, provider is fine. We don't need to. There you go. And we're also going to make this public. And then instead of using the mod recipe provider in the data generators, we're then going to switch in here and actually change this to new mod recipe provider.runner. And that should do the trick. Now, we also want to change this down here. That is the has method over here means that we just wanted to make all of those non-static. And then all of a sudden, everything is going to work and the mod recipe provider is done. As always, the code is also available down below. We then want to continue with items. Oh, the items are going to be fun. So the chisel item is going to work, question mark? Well, we're going to see if that is the case, but that's going to be okay. The hammer item, we're going to deal with that in a second. I think fuel item we also need to change. Yes, there is a new get burn time method that just has a fuel values over here. So we're just going to override that one instead and return the burn time here again. Easy enough. The mod armor item, we'll also deal with that in a second when we go through the armor items, because first of all, mod items. And as you can see, a lot of red is smiling towards us. As with the blocks, we need to call the set ID method over here, resource key.create, and then registries.item, resource location from namespace and path to tutorial.mod ID. And here is going to be bismuth. Once again, yes, in theory, you could create a helper method or basically change, well, in this case, yeah, create a helper method that is going to help with this. But once again, I have opted out of doing so. we're going to do the following. We're just going to paste this in everywhere, and then we're going to be fine. There you go. That's going to be okay. Then right here, and then we're also going to add it to all of the different swords, axes, and tools over here. We're also going to add this right here. I just need to double check where it is. We don't no longer need the durability, so we can actually just delete the durability from all of our armor items and then just paste this in. So basically, replace the durability with this. The animal armor item is actually a really easy fix. Just remove the false right here, and that should do it. The reason why this is still, well, I mean, wrong is because the bismuth armor material, we have to change something there too. And then here, the smithing template, we're going to deal with that in a second. And the other two set IDs. Okay, then let's go through one more time over here to set the IDs correctly. And then we are basically good to go. The greatest thing about this is that once we've done this once, we're going to be good to go. Because now we have it set, and then we no longer need to do it again. And there we go. And this one and this one. The bismuth hammer over here. Once again, I just double click this, press Ctrl+C, and then Ctrl+V to paste it in. You can also go to the description below. I will link down below, of course, the GitHub repository. I will also link the NeoForge summary. There is a great summary and an even more in-depth summary on all of the different changes that have occurred. But once again, there it is. So then we have the smithing template. That one needs to change in the following way. It now actually takes in a new item settings over here, or item properties rather. And then what does it do as well? It still it then also takes in the ID, set ID, resource location, or resource key actually, of registries dot, this is item, right? Where is it? It is item, indeed. Resource location from namespace and path. And then this is the same one over here. We no longer have the Kaupen stuff in there. There you go. The armor item dot type is now armor type. Very straightforward over here. That's not too bad. That's going to be okay. There you go, there you go, and there you go. The reason why the first one has a different error is because this is our mod armor item. I'm going to fix that in a second. First of all, we're then going to go up here to the swords and all of the different tools. So basically, you want to take the tool attributes that we had. You want to paste them. So you want to cut them out. So select the 5, comma, and then whatever comes afterwards. Control X to cut it out, and then after the first comma over here in the sort item constructor, we want to paste this in and add a comma over here. We can then remove the .attributes call, and there we go. Right, we can then set this up a little bit differently, so like this, and there you go. Now what we should have is only the mod tool tiers bismuth should have an error that is expected, and the rest should be fine. That's what we're going to do for all of the rest over here. So there we go. That is going to be what we need to do. And yeah, it's quite a crazy update, I will say. Like I said, in terms of some things are actually pretty nice and this is better done, right? So like it's this like weird create attribute stuff. I don't even know why they did that in the first place, but yeah, some of it is better, but the issue is just that it is still a lot of freaking work to get this to like properly work, and that can sometimes be a little bit annoying. But yeah, that is sadly what we have to deal with here as modders, right? I mean, we are sort of at the mercy, let's say, of Mojang and their changes. If they want to change something, they're going to change it, and they do not care if it is good or bad for modders. That is, well, let's just say that at least we're not their highest priority, right? I think we're very, very far down on the list of priorities when they make changes. Regardless of that, though, now we can go into our mod tool tiers over here, and we're going to see that the tier no longer exists because this is now a tool material, and we can change this to a new tool material. The ingredient to repair this is no longer an ingredient because now it is actually a tag. Mod tags.items. Mod tags, of course, .items. And this is going to be the bismuth _ repair. We're just going to call it bismuth repair. That's going to be fine. So let's go to the mod tags over here. Bismuth repair, bismuth _ repair. And we're going to immediately go to our item tag provider and add this. This is going to be mod tags.items. Bismuth repair, mod items, bismuth. Bismuth, there we go. So we can use bismuth to repair our bismuth tool tier. Should be fairly self-explanatory, nothing too crazy. Then we have all of our tools work except for the hammer because, well, that is a custom class over here and we haven't done this. So what we're going to do is we're going to middle mouse button click on the digger item, and we're going to just take all of the different parameters that we need. And there we go. We're going to, of course, change this to material right here and then pass in the material here. The tag key we don't need because we're already passing this in. The first one here should be the attack damage, and the second one is the attack speed, if I recall correctly, and both of those have to be passed in after the tag. So this is attack damage, attack speed, and then lastly the properties, which we're going to change the name of as well. There we go, and there we have it. Control, Alt, and O to delete all of the different imports that are no longer needed, and there we go. Hammer item done as well, and no more issues. Next point of order is, first of all, the mod armor materials. Luckily, these have actually changed for like way better. It's way better. First of all, it's no longer a holder, and also we don't need this insane like helper method anymore. That is two great changes over here. Okay, those are two great changes. No more register method, new armor material. That's it. The first parameter is the durability. Then we actually get to this, which now no longer is armor item.type, but armor type over here. And then we can just change this for all of them. Hold Alt, and then you can basically change the name here for all of them. That's going to be fine. That should be okay. And then we have a tag here again, which we're going to do mod tags.items.bismuth repair. The last one is a resource location that from namespace and path tutorial.mod.id. It's going to be bismuth. This is the name here, bismuth. And then the equip sound is in between the enchantment sound and the toughness. And that's just going to be sound events dot. We're going to do the diamond equip over here. And all of a sudden everything works. Once again, the code is available down below. Highly recommended. I am going through this a little bit quicker than usual. But like I said, all of the code is available down below. That should basically help you a lot, including the two different, basically descriptions on what had changed. In the mod armor item, very interesting enough, we're going to delete both of those, and then we're going to import the armor material again, and then we're going to select the holder, including the two angle brackets, and we're going to replace the holder here by basically pressing Control R, and then we're going to replace all of them with just an armor material, because we now only have an armor material. Here we have an armor type, and here at the bottom, we no longer get the material from our armor items, which of course is a very, very sensible decision to do so. This was sarcasm, by the way. So the way that we have to do this now is kind of like this. I will copy this over because it's kind of ridiculous. So we have an equipable, which is a part of a data component. And basically every item has this equipable data component, whether or not it is equipable or not. And then we can get the model. And via the model, this is a resource location, if it is equipable. And therefore, we can then get the model ID from our custom armor material, and we can compare those. And if all of those match, then we know that we have the same material. It's kind of convoluted and a little bit crazy, but there you go. That should also be everything we're going to need right here. Next point of order is the trims. The trims, super easy. We're just going to delete the not needed imports and then import both the strap context again and the trim material again, because they just changed their packages. Very straightforward, very easy here indeed. We're just going to do this again and do this again. Now, if I recall correctly, food properties, of course, we can no longer add effects like this. The way that it now works is if we take a look at the food, this is the foods, I think, foods, right? Should be the class. Yes, it is. If we were to look at the chickens, you can see no longer is here. However, if we were to go into the items class, right? So that's going to be the vanilla items right here. Let's just take this one, I guess. Yeah, there you go. If we look at the chicken right here, we can see that there's a consumables, and this consumables basically adds a couple of different things. So on consume, we can now add a teleport randomly consume effect. So there's different types of effects. This is kind of cool, right? This, in my opinion, is a very interesting way to do this. You can see consume seconds, so you can even say, hey, this takes a little bit longer to consume. And I mean, I think that this is really cool. Kind of weirdly implemented. I don't know why they just didn't add this to the food properties themselves. Could have just done like a consumable builder inside of the properties, but fair enough. So now we're going to have a public static final food properties. This is going to be the radish _ effect equal to, this is not a food property, sorry. This is going to be a consumable equal to consumables dot default food dot and then on consume. And on consume, we want to make a new, not a remove status effect, but an add. Is there an add? Nope. What is it called? It is called the apply status effect. Of course, applies consume status effect, which takes in the same things that we have right here. So we're just going to copy this over. I believe this should be fine. And here we don't want to do a .build. And all of a sudden we can remove this and there we go. So now we have the radish effect here. How do we use this in the mod items? When we have our radish, which is right here. Where is it? Where is my radish? So .food, we can simply add a second parameter, mod fruit properties, .radish effect, and now the effect will still work exactly like we had it set up before. So that is pretty awesome. With that done, we now have everything, question mark. Well, we have everything up here. There's a couple of things in the resources. So the first thing in the atlases right here, this has changed. I will copy over the new atlases because it has changed quite significantly. So you can see it is now under trims, entity, humanoid, and humanoid underscore leggings. Highly recommended to also just copy it over from here or from the external libraries. And then here, of course, those are fine. We're going to change the different folders, I believe right now, actually. There is a models folder. So in the tutorials models, we need a new folder. And this is going to be called equipment. Inside of there, we'll have a new file, and this is going to be bismuth under bismuth.json. The contents look like this. We now can define the layers over here, and this is going to be for the horse underscore body. The horse underscore body is a list over here, and the list contains objects with a texture. The texture is tutorial mod : bismuth. Nice. We can then copy over this list over here 2 times, the horse body list. And this is humanoid, and then we also have humanoid underscore leggings. There you go. This is the way to define the different equipment now. And the way that this works is that the textures of those, right? So both for the horse armor as well as the models right here changes basically its location. So we're going to have textures, then entity, and then inside of there a new directory called equipment. There you go. Inside there, we'll have another new directory called horse underscore body. This is where the horse armor goes. So this is going to be this texture right here, renamed to only be called bismuth. Now, in theory, of course, you can change the name right here. This is the name of this texture. I don't know, like the connection here should be extremely obvious. Horse underscore body, bismuth. Yeah, so that's basically how this is connected. In the equipment, again, we're going to create another directory called humanoid, and that is where the layer 1 goes. Also renamed to only be bismuth this time. Here we go. And then another one in the equipment, and that's going to be the humanoid underscore leggings. And once again, this is the layer 2 over here, and this is going to be called only bismuth as well. And there we go. We can now delete the models armor folder inside the textures folder. And we wanted to change something in the trims too. In the trims, the models is now going to be renamed to entity. Then we're going to rename the armor to humanoid. And we're going to make another new directory inside the entity directory called humanoid underscore leggings again. We're going to put the Kaupen leggings into the humanoid underscore leggings and then change the name here to Kaupen as well. Reason being, if we look at our atlases over here, then we can see that we have called this Kaupen as well. This is under trims, entity, humanoid underscore leggings, Kaupen. So this is why we've changed it here as well. Now that should be, if I recall correctly, everything that we're going to need to do. So what we can do now is we can run the data over here and just see if it works. If I've forgotten something, which is very possible, by the way, I have. Yes, this is in the config, which we've not done anything of. We're just going to delete this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're not using it anyway. The data provider over here, I believe it just has a different method that also has a provider inside. So literally just going to do this. Honestly, nothing too crazy. Then let's see data again. Yes, this is the slime effect. So the slime effect also fairly straightforward. It just has a server world right here now, or server level rather, server level over here, and then we can just pass in the level here in the super call, and there we go. Very straightforward. And I think that's one more thing in the potion as well. Oh yes, the send system message. Oh yes. So this one is going to be a little bit rough. So the send system message has changed to be a display client message right here, which is fair enough, which also needs to, action bar false or true. Now, my thoughts on this is this probably only works on the client, although I don't know whether or not this is going to be workable if you are on the server or only the client. I have yet to test this out properly, but do be aware that it might not work if you're on the server. So just keep that in mind. And the potion here just needs a name, or rather a string, which is a name. This is going to be slimy underscore potion. And I believe this should be everything. And it looks pretty promising. So let's just let the data gen run through one more time. It's going to change a couple of things there. And then there we go. Removed a couple of stale ones, written new ones. I don't even know what the new ones are. Maybe there's, I don't even know. I don't even know, but it should all work, hopefully. There we go. And then we can go into the client, run the client, and let's actually see our changes here and hopefully see the working 1.21.3 Minecraft instance. And it's already loading up over here. So let's take a look. But it looks pretty nice. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's create a new world and no crashes so far. Creative mode. And let's just jump in here. Right, so we're in the game. It definitely seems to work. And if I were to look, well, there you go. It is still, all of it is still here. This one still works. Let's see. Let's just like, you know, do a couple of things, right? Let's like chisel. Do I have anything to chisel? Nope. Let me get some stone over here to chisel just for the sake of argument. That still works. We can hold the ground with our tools. The tools seem to work. We have the, oh, this one doesn't have a name. This might actually be a, I actually don't know why it doesn't have a name. Maybe I've forgotten the name. Oh, none of my blocks have names. Should they not have names? Why do they take the item per default? Wait a freaking second. This is a very strange. So I know that there is a new thing that you can call over here, which is called the, let's see, this is the use item description prefix. I don't know why that wouldn't use that. Maybe it's because we're creating an item. Wow, this is more items. Wait. Yeah, wait a second. Ah, this could be the case. Okay, so this is very interesting. But, you know, you can see, I mean, this still works. So most of the stuff, basically, it should be everything. Everything, in theory, should still work. Let's just double check that, because I actually did not notice this. But I'm pretty sure this happens because of the items right here. So what we should do is in the item properties right here, which is just called the use block prefix. I think that should fix it. Let's just try this out and let's see if that does it. But I think we should be good to go. Let's take a look over here and then we'll see. And there we have it. All of our blocks have the correct names again. So everything is absolutely amazing. And of course, we can still eat our radish over here. There you go. Just for the sanity test over here, I'm so hoping this is going to work. And of course it does. Okay, I am... for a second, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. Now, it does seem like the mod armor item does not work. I am unsure why that might be the case. There might be an issue in the mod armor item right here. So this would be, it's most likely for some reason the equipable over here. I have not gotten it, like there's no other way to get it to work or to compare. So maybe we're just going to have to be content with the fact that maybe the mod armor is broken in 1.21.3, but that just happens. But yeah, that is, I would say, mostly everything, you know, done in 1.21.3. To all of you who have actually watched up until this point, like I said, the rest of the tutorials are going to continue with 1.21.1. So, you know, if you just watch this through because what the heck, why not? Or if you wanted to update, that is totally fine. But do be aware, I will try to add some amount of like plaques or some like links down in the description in the 1.21.1 continue tutorials for the newer versions, but I can't promise anything because just dealing with one version with 3 APIs is already quite a lot, and adding like another 3 versions on top is, I mean, I'm not gonna say untenable, but it is a lot. Like that would be very much like crazy, especially for that small of a population of people that, you know, because I'm telling you 1.21.1 is probably going to be the version for a while. But yeah, there we go. That's going to be it for this tutorial right here. Next time in this video, we'll talk about custom enchantments. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.